Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing well. So today is going to be a tutorial on how to assemble the ephemera from my Timeless Ladies kit. So I have done a video which is a full flip through of all of these pages plus the junk journal pages as well. So what I'm going to do next is I won't be talking, I'm just going to be doing a very speedy basically process video of me cutting out all the ephemera, and then once that's done I will slow it back down to normal and then I will just explain how to actually assemble this ephemera. So enjoy! Okay, so now you will have seen them all chopped up, so this is now going to be the assembly part. So I've got the original page here just so you can see which one these have come from. So it's quite easy to follow, hopefully. So these these two are envelopes, and then this one is a mini file folder. So all you'll need really is a bone folder and a bit of glue if you're gluing it. You can use these, you could maybe print something on the back. So for me, I've just printed like a watercolour page so that I can potentially leave this open as an envelope, sorry, as a writing space, or you could just glue it and fold it up as an envelope. So just to show you, there is a very fine line on going around the square, so that's your fold line. So you just need to find that and then start your folds and then just fold along that line, and then grab your bone folder and crease it so that it's nice and neat. So I'm just going to do that on the rest of them. So that is now your envelope assembled. So it's up to you how you fold it really. I mean, I personally would prefer to have this folded up, then I would glue that to it, and then I would put some glue along here and put that on top, because that's the peacock, so that's obviously the focal point on the back, and then you've got your flip at the top, which is like the envelope closure, and then there you've got your envelope. So like I say, you can glue this down and then that can be your envelope, or you could leave it like this and then you could glue this, well, you could still just pop this in a pocket or a tuck like you would anything else, and then you could have it as writing space. So because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with this, because I am going to make something with these, I'm not going to glue these today in this tutorial. So that's that one. Next we've got a much smaller envelope. So we've got a little image of a bird on here with some flowers. I haven't got fold lines, but basically the fold lines are where the corners are essentially. So you're just going to fold corner to corner. And then grab your bone folder and just run that along. Because it's a smaller envelope, it's easier to just do it when it's all closed. So then you've got your bird facing up, so that's the right way up, and then you've just got your top flap, and then again you could do the same thing. You could leave this open for journaling space, or you could put those two in. Well, it's entirely your choice really. You could do it like that, but I think I would prefer it personally like that. Pop a bit of glue on these bottom corners, and then, or you could just pop it around the top here, but maybe just leave a little bit of a gap in the middle so that you don't end up gluing the envelope to the actual inside. And then there you have a smaller envelope as well. And then finally we've got a little file folder. So really there is a fold line going down as part of the pattern, so you just want to fold along that and make sure your corners are matching up. Now in the cutting video, part of the video, I did actually cut these out myself, but what you could do is pop them in here and cut them out separately, and then that just makes it a little bit smoother. And again, you could do something where you've got like a vintage page or something like what I've done here. And then what I like to do is sew in some pages, so it's like a mini notebook, but you could just do anything with this really. I mean, you could turn it into a pocket by gluing down the sides, and then you could put things in there. You could just pop it into a pocket as is. There's quite a few different things that you can do with a little file folder. So that's that page done. Next we have the journal cards. So there is no assembly required for these. I just wanted to explain what they were really. So we've got these really gorgeous journal cards. As you can see, I have trimmed the corners down a little bit more than was necessary, but I quite like the larger rounded corner, so I tend to use this one, which is the 10mm corner. But I have designed them in a way that you could get away with the smaller one, so the 7mm. I wouldn't go with the 4mm because you might end up with a little bit of white space, so it's just for that purpose. So basically, again with these, I've just printed the entire kit on the back of some watercolour type papers, and then these are just going to be for journaling on, because they're just journal cards, so you could then embellish these with a little bit of lace, some stick-on gems. You could even turn these into a pocket if you wanted to, or a tuck spot. So there's quite a few things that you can do with those. Okay, the next page, we've got quite a few different bits. So the first thing to show you is these little circles. Now I haven't got a punch that's small enough to punch these, so I don't know if they'll fit like a 1 inch or a 1/2 inch punch or anything, so I've just cut these out with scissors to be sure, because I think I've only got a 1.5 and a 2 inch. But these can be used as charms, so you could punch a hole in the top of them and then you could dangle them as charms. You could paint some clear nail varnish over them, or some varnish if you've got it, and then those will become shiny little charms, and you could maybe stick two together, so you've got one on the front and one on the back. They're also good sort of little focal points to put on tags. You can put them as page tabs, so they're not massive, so they can just kind of slightly stick out of your journal. You could also use them as tiny tuck spots, and you could use them in things like clusters and stuff like that. So there's quite a few different bits and bobs that you can do with these little ones. The next one we've got here is another envelope. So there are some fold lines on this one, so if you can just see, it's a very fine box, but again it's just literally where the corners meet. So I'm just going to fold down corner to corner, following that line all the way around. I print this on 200 GSM, so sometimes it's a little bit stiff to fold. But once you have done that, you can just run your bone folder all the way around it and just make sure that all those folds are nice and crisp. So then again, you could just leave this open as a journaling spot, or you can just pop a little dot of glue there, put this flap down, and then pop a bit of glue down here and glue that flap there, and then you've got a little envelope with this little flap at the top. Then the next thing is, these are all pockets. So I've got these two. So one's upside down, one's the other way. It was just purely to fit more on the page. There are no fold lines on this, but you can see that this slants down, so this is going to be your fold line. So all you do is go from this top point here, give it a pinch so that you've got your fold line there, and then just give that a little bit of a pinch down there, and then just make sure that they are meeting. And then the same sort of thing here, so you've got a little line here where it slants down, so you just want to fold it there, give it a pinch, give that a pinch there as well, and then fold them across, and then just run your bone folder across it. So now you can see that you could just glue that to that one, and then that makes it nice and secure, and then you just run your bead of glue down these flaps and stick this into a journal, and then you can pop tags and tickets and envelopes and all sorts of things into those corner pockets. So I'll just do the same with this one just to show you. Okay, so now you've got two corner tuck pockets. And the last thing that we've got is these pockets. So these are more central pockets. Again, there's no specific fold lines on here. So you can just you've got the corner here. And then just kind of pinch it there. And then if you want to just kind of make sure that you are doing an even fold, you can just flip it over and just gauge roughly if you're doing, you know, doing it about even. And then do the same on this one as well. So just kind of pinch that there on that corner. And then just check that you're doing an even fold. And then your fold line for this one is just literally going to be corner to corner. So there we go. And then I'm just going to run the bone folder along it to make sure I've got nice clean folds. Okay, so that's how that looks when you've got that sat in your journal. And then by having these extra flaps, you'll have a little bit more space to put things in. So I'll just do the same with this one as well. Okay, so because there's no particular fold lines, you can literally fold it as tight or as wide as you want. So I've done this one a little bit less tight, like the other one, just because I like where these flowers are, and I wanted to kind of get the fold there so that I've got the flowers in the shot there. Okay, so that is that page. So this is the a full page of pockets here. So if you noticed when I was cutting this one out in the video, I think it was this one, I did follow the particular cut line, but then realistically you don't need to do that. All you need to do is miter the corner to make sure that you're actually, you've got somewhere to fold. So for example with this one, I've just cut this straight across, so you can either do that, you can do it like I've done here and do like a small sort of in and out. It was this one, sorry, that I followed the actual fold that I've put on here, but you don't need to make life difficult for yourself and follow that in particular. It doesn't really make a great deal of difference. For some reason I also rounded the corners on these on the Digi. You don't need to do that because that is the bit that's going to fold in. And again, there is no fold lines on these ones, so really you just kind of want to fold somewhere in the middle of where you've cut, but you know, you can do the flaps as thick or as thin as you like. So I'm doing these ones fairly thin, and I'll do this one to match, and then I'm just gonna fold in as much of that bottom as I can because I don't really want any extra shape other than a square really. So then just burnish the folds, and then you've got your pocket there, and then you've got, that's what your pocket will look like on the page. So I'll do that for these ones as well. So where I've chosen to do like a bit of a central one, that does kind of give you a better line, but then it's entirely your choice. So like here, I know there's like a really nice pattern, so what I might try and do is follow that and just have quite a thin flap, because you don't really need massive flaps in behind the pockets. You only really need enough of something to put your glue on. So that's more than enough to run a bead of glue down. And what you can do is, if you are finding that you've got maybe these top corners are sticking out a little bit and you're not enjoying that, just literally snip those off. So they're just like that, and then they're hidden then completely. And then I've got a bit of a line here, and I don't want to get rid of too much of that rose, so I'm just gonna fold it there. Something else that you can do, if you wanted particularly rounded corners, or if you folded them in a way that you've got like a little bit of an edge here, you could either snip off the corners or you could round them. So if I use just the smallest one, so that's the 4mm, and then that just gives it a little bit more of a different shape, and it's not quite as obvious that you've left these. I mean, these are not a bad thing, you know, it's a pocket at the end of the day. You kind of expect there to be something, otherwise how is it on the page? You know what I mean? So yeah, so those are some of the options that you can do with these pockets. So I will just do the rest of them. Also, if you really like the images on these and you didn't want to use them as a pocket, you could potentially use them as journaling cards. You would just literally chop off the flaps. So you could, without obviously folding, you could just literally chop off the bottom of this and then round the edges, and then you've got an extra journaling card. So if it was that you liked these as pockets as well as journaling cards, you can just print off another couple. And then you can turn them into journaling cards as well. And then I'm just going to chop. But again, with pockets, you can add some trim, some lace, some bling, some little stick-on gems. You can add literally anything that you want. You could even punch a hole in, put an eyelet and hang a charm off as well. So there's plenty of things that you can do. And also, like I say, you don't have to use these specifically as pockets. You can use them as journal cards. You could even chop them up and make them part of a collage or a cluster, part of a masterboard if you've got scraps left from it. You could literally turn these into anything if you like the images and you didn't want to use them just as pockets. So there's no assembly with these ones. These are just purely tags. So I've just chopped them and then printed them on something that you could use as journaling space, or if you weren't happy with the thickness, click say this is 200 GSM, but when they're not something that's folded, they're potentially a little bit flimsy. So you could back this onto book page or tea dyed paper or any kind of paper of your choosing, or card or anything like that. You could even do something that I quite like to do and basically tear down the well, not the middle, but maybe like a third, and then glue the thinnest side to some maybe embossed paper or just any card, anything like that, and then just glue a little bit around the edges on the other side, stick them on so they form the tag again, and then you've got a pocket, so it's like an extra tuck spot. So just, you know, as an idea, you could do that. You could also fold these and turn them into a little notebook, and again you could also use them as scraps or fussy cuts if you like the images of the women rather than them being in a tag, or the roses and things like that. So just a few ideas of things that you could do with those as well. This is the final page of Ephemera. So this is another tag. You could use this as potentially a bookmark to move around to different places in your journal. And you can see that on the Digi I have rounded the corners, so I'm just going to use the 4mm, which is the smallest corner, and chop off those corners, and then that covers that one. These are trifold tags. Now, you don't have to use these necessarily as that, but I'll just show you what it looks like. So I've purposely not cut out these corners, and I'll show you why. So when you fold these, again, there's no fold lines, but just make sure that you are lining it up, making sure that the bottom, so you've got the end here lining up in this little dip, and then just make sure that the bottom is flush against the other bottom, and then that just makes that much neater when you're folding it. And then the other one can just fold straight across, and again just line up the bottom and then just run your bone folder across. So now, as you can see, that could work as a tag, that can work as a tag, and that could work as a tag. So the reason why I didn't cut out the corners was because you can do it with this really easily. I'm going to go with the smallest one. So now you can see that that's got a nice rounded corner, and then that's got the nice rounded corners on the other side as well, in the centre, and it's, you know, easier to cut out like that, and it's nicer as well. But like I say, you can use these as individual tags, or you can use it as a trifold. So what I mean by that is you can have this as a journaling space, so you could decorate it up as a tag, pop it into a pocket, and then when someone opens it, or when you open it, it's a journaling space. And then, like I say, you could cut these out and have them as individual tags. You can put things in there, so you could maybe put like a little couple of pockets in here and make it like a mini folio. Yeah, there's loads of different things. And again, you could always fussy cut the images. You could put them into collages, make them into charms and things like that, depending on how small you want to cut them up. So I'll just do the same thing again on this one. So I'm just pinching it at that crease there, so at that little cut line, and then I'm just lining this up so the other side hits that, and then the bottom lines up as well. And then just bone fold that, burnish, and then just flap over your other one and make sure that you fold that nice and flush. And then just do as you did before and cut off the corners with a corner punch. Like I say, if you don't have a corner punch, you can obviously just use scissors. That'll do the same thing. And I've purposely made sure that it's like that on the digi, so that you don't have to worry about where to cut. Okay, so that is all of the ephemera for this kit. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. If anyone has any questions about how to do any of this stuff, please feel free to pop something in the comments. Anything that I can help you with, I'll be more than happy to try. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video, and please do hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified of future videos, and also really does help out my business. Alright, well, thank you very much. Bye!